yo, what's going on? What's going on? Good people, good people. We are here. We are here once again. Another week of Just a Fan podcast. As you already know, it's just a group of guys that knows a heck of a lot about football. You already know. I'm glad to be back. This is Tristan TV, man with the gift and the gab. Recovering from the Rona, from COVID. So we're on the I'm on the latter part of it. So I had to take a week off because my voice was shoddy. I sounded a mess. So I had to take care of that. But I'm glad to be back. To my boom, got it. So to my right, as you're looking at it, it's the human encyclopedia for the NFL. Brandon Williams, what's going on?
Man, tonight is gonna be a little bit interesting. What's good though?
What's good? What's good? It definitely is. It definitely is. And then to the bottom, of course, the man himself, the chaotic one, Mr. Pandemonium, Eric Wright. And it's a special, special, special episode today because it's Pando's birthday today. So for everybody tuning in, everybody that's chiming in on the show, be sure to wish Eric happy birthday. Wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Pando.
Easy E, happy
Thank
birthday,
you,
man.
thank you.
So it's just
I need
as
some.
he.
I need some.
Oh no, go ahead, Eric. What are you saying?
Yeah, I need some hot grease and yeah, I'm saying I just need some hot grease and stove so I can fry up Kyle Shanahan because he deserves all
Mm,
the flame, all of it.
it's
And
on
we're gonna talk
now.
about that later.
Oh, we are. We're
Yeah.
going. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a little later. One thing's for sure. What we're going to start off with right now is we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, man. We had some breaking news over the weekend. Okay, had some breaking news over the weekend, and everybody was saying their little tidbits, their little soliloquies, and all that, and then we kind of had to renege for a second because it was saying it wasn't really official yet, and it was crazy because a part of me, before I even
Mm.
said anything on my social media, a part of me was like, I didn't hear from him. I don't know, but I was like, but so many people are saying something, so it must be true. But now today, officially as of this morning, we had the official word: the goat, the goat himself, Mister 199, Mister Six Round Pick, Mister 22 seasons in the NFL, the GOAT, Tom Brady, has officially retired from the NFL. Guys, yeah, hey, listen, bravo to a career, um, Hall of Fame career. I'll say my piece once it gets to me. I'll let y'all go ahead and talk about it first. Brandon, you can go ahead and start off, and then Eric. Well, no, let's let the birthday man go ahead and start off. So Eric, you can start off, and then Brandon, you, and then I'll say something after.
All right, cool.
So, Tom Brady was supposed to have been a San Francisco 49er. But he got passed over, not just by our team, but by several teams. He grew up in the Bay Area. He idolized Joe Montana. And at that time, we were looking for a new quarterback at the time he was drafted. And basically, I'm mad at my franchise because we missed out on him twice. We could have drafted him, and then we could have got him before he went to Tampa. And he's a definitely a rags to riches success story because he was very unassuming coming into the combine in '99. Was it '98? It's been so long, but he went from the shucks after that first Super Bowl he won to basically just being looking like Anakin Skywalker right before he killed them kids in the Jedi Temple. He went full on Darth Vader. I used to make jokes all the time about him. He was like, "Man, you know, I used to think he was a Jedi." But then he became a Sith Lord. He just he went full on Darth Vader. I used to make jokes all the time about him. He was like, "Man, you know, I used to think he was a Jedi." But then he became a Sith Lord. about him and Belichick. Belichick was the emperor, and Brady was Anakin Skywalker, who had become Darth Vader toward his latter years in New England. But can't take anything from him at all. He's he's a phenomenal competitor. He's a good quarterback, and he just decided to go to the house. Truthfully, I think he could have played 2 more years. You really, want to know my opinion on it. I really feel like he going to the team, yeah, staying in Tampa Bay or going to the Ravens, he probably could have had same amount of success for 2 more years. But he's a playoff quarterback. He was the MVP candidate. He's walking away an MVP candidate. So, if ever that Frank Sinatra song "I Did It My Way" was relevant, I think you would have to say that about Tom Brady.
For sure, for sure. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, so E, to correct you, man.
Oh, that's a good one.
um, so basically, he was drafted in 2000. I was still in high school. Sixth round pick. You go back and look at his combine when he ran the 40-yard dash. He was slow. He, like I said, was drafted in sixth round, backup quarterback behind first round pick Drew Bledsoe, who taken the team to a Super Bowl several years earlier, losing to the Green Bay Packers. Um, at the time, Dallas didn't need a quarterback. Well, at least during the draft, we didn't need a quarterback because Troy Aikman was still quarterbacking, but no one knew that was going to be his final year. And if Dallas had, well, I'm not going to say Dallas drafted Tom Brady. We would have gotten the same results. Because I
I was about to
doubt
say, Brandon, don't you do that.
it. Nah, no, we wouldn't have. We're not. No, we definitely wouldn't have the same results. But um, the transition might have been a little bit better than what it was because I tell you what, the eight quarterbacks between Troy Aikman and Tony Romo can't even hold a candle to Tom Brady at all. So, but seven Super Bowl rings, 10 Super Bowl appearances, numerous Pro Bowls. I don't know how many MVPs and stuff, but congratulations to the GOAT. 22 years. Finally, we can start getting to these younger quarterbacks.
Yeah, my man said finally. Listen, for me, uh, I was actually a little sad, and I think the reason why is because you,
Yep.
you when you watch somebody play that great, you know what I'm saying, for a long period of time, um, and it wasn't like watching some of the older guys. It wasn't like watching Big Ben when this season when it was just like, man, come on, man, just let it go. It wasn't like watching Philip Rivers, even though Philip Rivers was okay, but you saw he lost a lot. It wasn't like watching Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying? The way he went out. It wasn't anything like that. Like Tom Brady has a chance, legitimate chance to win MVP this year. Like I know a lot of people saying it's probably gonna be Aaron Rodgers, but Tom Brady is right there. Like Tom Brady led the league in touchdowns and passing yards at age 44, um, with a depleted roster, mind you.
Mm.
Like it wasn't like he had all his horses from last season when he won the Super Bowl. Everybody was injured this year, so and we could still be talking about Tom Brady right now. Tom Brady could still be playing if his offensive line was healthy, or if Chris Godwin was healthy. We probably still be talking about him right now, going to his what would it be 11th Super Bowl. When you think about Tom Brady and all that he's accomplished, um, it's truly something like astounding. I mean, when you think about it, it's like okay, you got 22 years in the NFL, fifth, what is it, 15 Pro Bowls, multiple All Pros, 3 MVPs, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 Super Bowl victories, um, 5 Super Bowl MVPs. He holds the record for passing touchdowns, holds the record for passing yards, holds the records for most wins, in a career span. Like this guy is a personified winning. And I think what makes it special, and I think again for me, like I said, I was sad, and I think the reason why I'm sad was because what made me appreciate Tom Brady was he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, he didn't have the biggest arm. He didn't have he wasn't Harold. Even in high school, he wasn't that Harold quarterback that everyone talked about from when he was a kid on up to Michigan. All he knew how to do, and we say this term so loosely about players, but he truly personified this. All he knew how to do was win. Even at Michigan, when they
Which,
were trying to get Drew Henson in there so
yep.
badly, trying to push him to be the starter because he had all the physical gifts and tools.
Hmm.
When the rubber met the road, they went and looked for Tom Brady to close out the game, to be the closer, and win the game for him. That's all he knew to do. And a lot of people, go over this whole thing with the Patriots. Was it Bill Belichick? Was it Tom Brady? Was it Bill Belichick? Was it Tom Brady? Listen, I understand most QBs are system QBs. Let's really be clear about this. Most QBs are system QBs. Most QBs have to be in the right environment. It has to be the right system, right pieces around them, right kind of coaching. Most QBs, and I'm talking about including the great ones, most of them had to be in an ideal situation. I don't think Joe Montana would be Joe Montana if he didn't have Bill Walsh and them guys with the 49ers. I think if he was drafted somewhere else, he might have not been that cat. I don't think Tom Brady would be Tom Brady if he wasn't with the Patriots first. There's only certain quarterbacks that for
Right.
me, and that's a whole other topic. We're not even gonna dive into that. There's only a certain number of QBs that I feel like you put them anywhere, they're going to be who they were. It's a small, small, small number that had that kind of talent. And but what I will say is, it does take a special person to master the system that they're in, to maximize it to the best of its ability. The 49ers were fortunate, and I'm saying 49ers a lot because it's Eric's birthday. The 49ers were very fortunate because they had two quarterbacks that were able to master that system in Joe Montana and Steve Young. But no one put Steve Young in the same realm with Joe Montana. Like Joe Montana's in his own realm when it comes to 49ers lore, and then Steve Young has his own room. Like that's how they place him. There's no one that's ever going to come in and do the Patriot system the way Tom Brady did it. There's no one that's going to ever come in and master it the way he mastered it. To be that kind of maniacal, to be that kind of person that just can't you can't help but be obsessed, all these years for that long period of time after you accomplish all you accomplish, to still have that same hunger and drive, to still think about that you were the fact that you were a 6 round pick, the fact that you were picked 99. And I think that was the thing for me, was the interview that he had years ago. I think this was during his 2007 season, I think. And they did an interview, and he was talking about when he got drafted. And the fact that at that point in time, he already won 3 championships. He was already a superstar in the league, already had an MVP under his belt, was on an undefeated season. That day he got drafted still drove him to tears. That the pain of that still was there. And it's just like, dude, look what you accomplished. That still affected you. That's when I knew, oh, you different. You a different breed. You're a different type of human being. And I just have so much respect for him. Again, I was a little sad to see it officially because I know we're not going to see that kind of greatness again. And I'm just glad that, when people talk about Michael Jordan, and I always consider Michael Jordan the greatest, but I only, from my recollection, I can only recall the second three-peat of Michael Jordan. I wasn't old enough to appreciate when he first came into the NBA and did his thing. I wasn't there for that. I know Eric, you probably you remember all of that, no, but I don't. But for
Okay,
me,
we go with the old. We going with the old.
right, right. But for me, I'm glad that I was able to see Tom Brady from day one to year 22, and all the greatness that came with it. So again, salute to Tom Brady on a magnificent career. It won't be duplicated. Um, yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm grateful to have witnessed that as a football fan.
I respected him as a player. I really didn't like him as a person that much, but I did respect him as a player, and I still respect him as a player. I can separate the two. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah, man. I mean, 22 years in the league, man. That's hard. You're not gonna get that again. Jerry Rice played what 20 years in the NFL. Joe Green played about 20 years in the NFL. I mean, Tom Brady went an extra couple of years. That's really difficult.
Yeah,
And so you talking about Tom Brady, man? He only had like
yeah,
one serious injury in his career, and that was 2008 when he tore his ACL. But he came back, won some more Super Bowls, went to some more Super Bowls, probably won another MVP or two afterwards. I mean, we're talking about the greatest quarterback of all time. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, let's move on. I don't think we got to touch on anything with that with Tom Brady. Again, the goat, greatest of all time, undisputed. No one's going to duplicate it. Shoot, Joe Montana came on. He came on first take today, and Joe Montana said that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback that's ever played in the NFL. So your boy Eric, he said it today. So
yeah.
so
No. Uh, there's still always going to be a yeah. It's always going to be a debate with Niner fans because Tom Brady won the most Super Bowls, but Joe won the most without losing.
hey, listen. Hey, listen. I understand. Hey, Joe Montana will always be undefeated. I get it. I get it. I get it. But hey, look, he the one. He listen. He got on the show and said Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. So Joe Montana says it. That's the stamp for me. That's the stamp. If Joe Montana said that's the stamp.
He's hands down the crown. That's all right with me. If Joe says it's okay, then it's okay.
There you go. There you go. Shout outs to the missus. She's saying hey. Uh, appreciate her tuning in. Um,
Oh,
she
you got the females on the watching the podcast now. Look at you.
yeah, that's the missus, man. She's always a big supporter for sure.
That,
So appreciate
that's
you.
what's up. That's what's up.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Let me ask this: Do we want to go over these? Do we want to go over these games first, or do we want to
Oh
talk about this
yeah,
the Brian Flores situation? We want to leave the Brian Flores situation last.
yeah. Because there's a lot to unpack with both the championship games and with Brian Flores. Because we just talked about what makes the NFL great with Tom Brady. We're going to talk about what makes the NFL not so great when we talk about the whole Brian Flores situation. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. I can't speak for you two gentlemen.
Well, I think we can. I think we safely we all share the same sentiments, for sure. So let's go ahead and talk about these games real quick, and then we'll is that that's what we agreed on, right? We're gonna talk about the games real quick, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
move forward with the Brown Forest situation. So let's go ahead and talk about the again. It's Eric's birthday today. Eric's birthday today. Happy birthday, Pando! So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the NFC Championship. Let's go over the NFC Championship game first. The Rams defeat the 49ers. Man, I felt Debo. I felt Debo on that sideline, man.
Mm.
No doubt. Because let me tell you why. Because here I go. Here I go. Like this is the problem with Kyle Shanahan. Okay,
Oh, the grease
and
is hot.
Oh yeah, I didn't turn. I've been turned on the oven. But here's the problem with Kyle Shanahan. He eventually, in just a matter of time, will screw off a game by avoiding the obvious, doing the obvious thing. He did it in the Super Bowl 2 years ago when the 49ers were up by 10 on Kansas City. You had a running back that was averaging 5 yards a carry, and you take the ball out of his hands. At that time, Raheem Mostert was the best offensive player on the team. At that time, you took the ball out of his hands. Without question, who's the best offensive player on the 49ers this year? I'm going to let y'all answer that.
Debo
Exactly.
snatching
D-
chains.
Debo Samuel. Y'all ready for this stat? Debo Samuel got touch. One touch in the fourth quarter. How do you explain that? And you defer and lean on a quarterback who has a bad shoulder and a bad throwing hand
Yeah.
and expect to try to win a game. And you take the ball out of arguably the best player on the team
Yeah.
and arguably an MVP candidate. He won't win it because, he's a receiver. They're going to give it to a quarterback. But the man had close to 2,000 all purpose yards this year.
One of the best
Okay.
offensive skill players in the league.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands down. And this man got one touch in the fourth quarter when he could easily put that game away. How do you do that? I'm gonna tell you how. Because Kyle Shanahan, or what like they call banana hands, will always let a victory slip out of his hands in a big game. In a big game, he lets it slip out of his hand. I don't even want to talk about the Jaquaski Tart dropped interception. Okay, because
Right.
that could have did it. That could have put the game away right there. And all you people that still jocking Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was trying to give us the game. He was trying his best to get that game away. So y'all need to stop the madness with Matt. Oh, Matt Stafford. No. I ain't trying to hit it. Okay. All right. We beat ourselves. Kyle Shanahan is the Rams MVP. He is the Rams MVP because there's no way that they should have lost that game. Even though the Rams had two receivers over 200 yards, over 100 yards, we still had the initiative at the end of the game. And Kyle Shanahan snatched that initiative from us by trying to sling the ball all over the place, knowing you have a turnover prone, inaccurate quarterback that is injured. He's out there injured. Why would you put the game on his shoulders when you have an all pro offensive weapon? I'm not going to call him a receiver. I'm not going to call him a running back. He is an offensive weapon. And he gets one touch in the fourth quarter. He's done this before when he was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. And all you had to do to put Tom Brady and them away, because you had a big enough lead, was run the ball. He had Dante Freeman in his prime. He had Tevin Coleman in his prime. So you had two really good backs. I'm not gonna do that. He said one of the best defenses at the time in New England's defense. I'm gonna throw it into the team of the defense instead of running it. That's dumb. He gave away a Super Bowl. He gave away San Francisco's sixth Super Bowl 2 years ago, doing the same thing. 6 minutes left in the game, 10-point lead. Running back averaging 5 yards a carry. 4 yards is good. This guy Raheem was averaging 5 at that time. That's game over if you turn around and hand him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that is why a lot of Niner fans have a love-hate relationship with Kyle Shanahan, because he will do the utmost just Einstein genius things, get to a huge game and completely go away from it and won't take any accountability for it. And I've learned my lesson. And Steve's not on here right now, but Steve is saying it. I'm not picking the Niners to win any games next year, so we'll go undefeated. Because the minute I pick the Niners to win, they let me down. I'm serious. because I did not. You know what? Correction. I did pick the Niners to beat the Cowboys, and we beat the Cowboys. But I mean, for the most part, I knew it was just a matter of time. So Shanahan's gonna find a way to mess something up. And he had a long streak of games where he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and then he waited to the NFC Championship. Oh no, this is my time right now. It's time for me to screw the pooch, right here, right now, in this moment. It's a team we didn't beat twice this year. It's a team we didn't beat 6 times in a doggone row over the last 3 years. Out of all of the teams that most people thought that the Niners could beat, it was this one. They didn't think we could beat the Cowboys. They didn't think we could beat Green Bay in sub-freezing conditions.
Right.
But they like, hey man, the Niners can beat the Rams. That's the one he screws up on. I'm like, it's so hard as a Niners fan because you realize that the man is extremely smart. He's an extremely smart coach. He's an
Very
extremely
intelligent.
smart play designer. They're interviewing our offensive coordinator. That's just a figurehead position. I'm like, y'all can have him, because we still gonna have the same play calling going on. Shanahan calling the plays. They guys up there like, hey Kyle, let's run this. And Kyle's like, okay. Or he's like, no, we're gonna run this. I'm glad we're not losing D'Amico Ryans, but losing McDaniel is not a big deal. But the problem is, he is so smart, he's dumb. That's the best way to put it. I'm an educator. I see it. I've seen it in my 20 years of teaching. There are kids that you will have in your class that can do quadratic equations in their head. No scratch paper, no calculator. But if you ask them what 2 plus 2 is, they will seem stumped. That, my friends, is Kyle Shanahan. The only good thing that comes out of this is there's no controversy about Jimmy Garoppolo leaving San Francisco
Right.
at this point.
Right.
There won't be any conversation because people will say, "Oh, what if Jimmy gets you back to the Super Bowl and he wins it? What are you going to do then?" I'm like, he still need to go.
Right. And
$5 million.
and my thing with this is when you watch the game, it was like, man, the 49ers really could have won. Like legitimately.
Absolutely, absolutely,
And so
absolutely.
but so as much as the league and the media just really like they applaud him for the genius that he is, and he is a genius. But at some point, we really have to look and digest the fact that when it comes to the fourth quarter in these big games, Kyle Shanahan comes up small. He did it. He did it in Atlanta, and he's done it. He's done it with the 49ers, with the Super Bowls, with
And
the
the crazy,
championship games.
here's the crazy part, Tristan. Here's the real crazy part. Most of them games we had to lead in the
Exactly.
fourth quarter. It ain't like you don't know how to close out games, bro. It's one thing if you behind by a couple of scores in the fourth quarter and you got to try to figure out something to get in. No, usually leading in the fourth quarter when he
I
screws it up.
I think
Like,
I
how
was
do you
watching.
not know how to close out a game?
I
And
And
you
think
what
I,
are the running game master.
but
I
but what makes it worse is you have the system to close out the game because you have not only inherited the system from your father, but you have modernized it. It is outside zone
Yeah.
2.0, and you're a great run designer, which means you can bleed clock. There's 40 seconds between each play clock, man. You can burn 35 seconds easily in between each play and just close the game out.
I think I.
Debo,
Go ahead,
I'm
Brandon.
sorry,
Yeah. So
for Debo for 15 minutes per quarter, and Debo to only have one touch is a shame. That is a shame. Kyle Shanahan really should be embarrassed, and like Trisha, like you said, man, he should be called out for not being able to close out these games.
I think I saw. I think I was watching Get Up um, yesterday, and Dan. I think it was Dan. I want to say it was Dan Orlovsky. He said something that was so staggering in the games where it mattered. So we're counting all the playoff games, the two Super Bowls. Well, the two Super Bowls because he went to one with the 49ers, one with Atlanta. The two Super Bowls and then this past conference championship game, in the fourth quarter, Kyle Shanahan, the mind that he has in the fourth
He
quarter,
outscored 0-3. Yep.
0-53. That's insane to think about
In
that
the fourth quarter.
in
Yep.
the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So you mean so what you're telling me
Yep.
is when the game is on the line, you either overthink or you coach tight. You don't coach to win the game, you coach not to lose, or you try to prove a point saying I can keep going this way. Instead of you want so bad for your mind to dictate the game rather than watching and seeing what the game is giving you and going with that. That's one of the things that makes Tom Brady so successful made Tom Brady so successful through the years as a quarterback. Tom Brady didn't care if he threw for 500 yards or if he threw for 150. Whatever the game dictated and that he needed to do to
Mm-hmm.
win, that's what he was going to do. So if it meant he was going to throw the ball 22 times, but we're going to run the ball 40 times and win, that was fine with Tom Brady. He didn't need the numbers. So from a coaching standpoint, Kyle Shanahan is like, oh, I can just do all this creative stuff and keep doing it instead of doing the thing that's
Right.
obvious and simple.
Shanahan basically is. I know y'all seen that commercial where they got the teenagers. They say, "Let's hide behind the wall of chainsaws." Now, why can't we just get in the running car? That's Kyle Shanahan. He won't
Yes,
get in the running
in
car.
the
He
running
will
car,
not do the obvious.
right?
I'm like, you trying to get away you trying to get away from the killer in the movie. There's a car with keys in it. The engine's running. Let's get in that car and drive away. No, no, no. I'm gonna hide behind the wall of chainsaws in the old rusty shed. That's what Kyle Shanahan does. In the divisional round against the Packers to close the game out on 3rd and 7, he called a run to Debo Samuel, who gave
Hmm.
him 9 yards and a first down, which put Robbie Gold in position,
Yeah, I
who's
remember that.
automatic. And I'm
Playmaker.
like, you wasting Robbie Gold. You wasting Robbie Gold. Robbie Gold was 40 something. You wasting him. Like his window is closing. We don't know we're gonna get another kicker like that again. You know what I'm saying? Eventually Robbie Gold gonna say, man, I'm going to the house. I had a good career. So I'm like, Kyle Shanahan does not do the obvious. So, moving forward, the Trey Lance era has begun.
Yes.
And and with Jimmy off the books, we can get rid of him because I'm serious. I'll trade if it's left up to me. You can give me a half-eaten Subway sandwich, a bag of chips that's been opened, and a peppermint from an old lady from a Baptist church, and I will give you Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. Because the 25 million that we can put on under back under the cap when he's gone will help us re-sign Debo Samuel, will help us re-sign Nick Bosa, and it will help us sign some of our ancillary free agents, and we can run it back with a better quarterback, with a higher ceiling. And I'm through with that. Y'all ready to talk about Kansas City Bengals?
Well, I just want to touch on the Rams side real fast. Just shout outs to Matthew Stafford. I listen, say what you want. Matthew Stafford played a hell of a game. You look at his numbers, Matthew Stafford played a hell of a game. Shout outs to Matthew Stafford.
And still tried to give the game away in the third and the fourth quarter. He
Yes,
tried his best
he
to
did.
give that game away.
He did. But Kyle
That's
Shanahan
why
said
I
no.
don't respect him.
Kyle
I don't
Shanahan said
respect
no,
him.
sir. No, sir.
He's well, no, actually, Mikowski talk was like, I'm not going to look this ball in. If he looks this ball in,
It's
he
over.
at least on the return gets us back in the field goal range, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
over.
over. Yeah, it's
At the
over.
very least, he gets us back in the field goal range on a return.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So
It's
it's
over.
like you got quarterbacks. I don't, I don't, yeah, there's quarterbacks that I don't respect as people, but I respect them as players. Matt Stafford, I respect him as a person. I don't respect him. And he's, hey man, 18 interceptions, man. 18
He's a
interceptions this season.
he
He
listen.
almost has a 2-to-1 interception
He's risky. He
you
listen.
know,
He is a risk taker. He's definitely a gunslinger. So I fully agree on that aspect. But man, I look at Matt Stafford a lot differently than other people look at Matt Stafford. And statistically, he has the since Eli retired, he has the most fourth quarter comebacks out of all the active quarterbacks in the league. Like it's Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is a gamer. Now he could throw you a win and he could throw you a loss. That's for sure. I'm not denying that at all. But I just I have more just of a revere for him as a player, just especially with what he had to deal with in Detroit. And then shout outs to Odell Beckham Jr. Shout outs to OBJ because OBJ balled out and all the trash they were giving him saying he ain't got it no more. He washed. He da all that stuff. Shout outs to Odell Beckham Jr. because I knew he was not the problem in Cleveland. Shout outs to OBJ balling out in the championship game.
would have told y'all that have zero faith in Baker Mayfield. So that's just what it is. OBJ is still OBJ. I wouldn't mind my team trading for him, but we weren't hurting that receiver. That wasn't what we was hurting. We was hurting on the other side of where the receiver is, and that's that corner. So, big ups to him. I'm not doing my Super Bowl pick yet, but I'm gonna be really honest. The best chance of stopping the Rams was this past Sunday. I just unless the Bengals are able to just go tit for tat, go back and forth up the field and making a relay, making a track meet. Now that can happen because I still don't believe in the Rams defense. I don't. I still don't believe in them.
I don't believe in the Rams
Um,
offensive line.
I don't believe in their ability to be physical. I think it's a facade. But then again, the Bengals. I don't believe in the Rams offensive line either. So the question is does the Bengals have the horses to get to Stafford? We got to him. I think what it was by and or better yet, if Joe Burrow and them can really turn this into a trade meet, then it's gonna come down to who has the ball last. But we can cover that in the show right before the Super Bowl. I don't want to get into that. Let's talk about the overwhelming hubris of the Kansas City Chiefs and how they stunk that game away that they had in.
Let me say this with the Chiefs. Let me go ahead. Let me start this off and talk about the Chiefs. This was the as soon as the game was over. As soon as the game was over, I said to myself, I said, Patrick Mahomes lost that game because of arrogance. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid lost that game purely out of arrogance. First of all, when you go back and you look at the end of the going right before halftime, you're at the red zone. Instead of going for the field goal,
Yes,
you want to go ahead and try to get into the end zone just to put more onto the Bengals. Try to break their spirit before going into halftime. And you call a play, and you throw a flat, basically a screen
that was
to Tyreek, thinking that was going to work, and you're throwing that screen.
that was a
He doesn't
different.
get in. You have no timeouts. Patrick Holmes basically trying to pull a Chris Webber, having no timeouts whatsoever, and really could have cost yourself a penalty just off of that alone if it wasn't for a halftime already being established. Okay, you come into the second half, and the throws that I saw Patrick Mahomes try to do to make plays. People kept saying, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes played tight. Oh, he played like this. He played." No, 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 no. That wasn't playing tight. That was playing arrogant. Patrick Mahomes felt like, man, look, man, I've been dicing these guys up all day. I can kind of do whatever I need to do. Cincinnati's defense went into that locker room, came back out and clamped down, and they made sure that they were strategic in their assignments. They didn't do anything spectacular. They didn't do anything crazy. It was Patrick Mahomes thinking that he can be Superman and let me see how many touchdowns I can throw on these guys, or let me see how much magic I can do. You running around back there, he's running out of pockets that he didn't need to run out of, running out of pockets that he didn't need to run out of. You had open guys. Nicole Harmon was open.
Tyreek
Travis,
Hill.
no, not even Tyreek. Kelsey was open. You had guys open that you could have made plays and just methodically go down the football field like you were doing in the first half. But you reverted back to your old ways. And this is the thing. This is the thing why I do not crown Patrick Mahomes as being like the greatest of all time, like people would be trying to do already. Because there's a thing called experience. And with experience, there comes wisdom. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is still a kid in this thing. As great as he's been, I understand he's thrown 50 touchdown passes. I understand he's thrown for over 5,000 yards. I understand that he's won a Super Bowl, been a Super Bowl MVP, won a regular season MVP. I get all that. He has a great start to his career. If he retired right now, he'd have a shot to be at least a second or a third ballot Hall of Famer based on what he's done so far. I get it. But the issue that I have is that we're not, because we celebrate all the miraculous things he does, and this is what I was talking about early on in the season, where I felt like he had a misstep. We applaud and laud all the great things that he does, but we do not pay attention to the mistakes that he makes because he's still young. When you look at his draft evaluation, the things that they said: unique talent, supreme gifted arm, tends to overdo plays, tends to not be disciplined with his reads. These are things that we're seeing happen in the NFL. So nothing's really changing. It's just that his good is so good that at times it masks his deficiencies. But the problem is when you get into the moments of the divisional round, the conference championship, the Super Bowl, you are going to be exposed for your deficiencies. There's a reason why for a whole stretch period of time we kept seeing the same faces in the Super Bowl because no matter what was happening, those people understood the discipline of the game. There is a discipline to it. You are not in the matrix. You are not the one to break the code for the NFL. It's been here for over 100 years. It's going to be here long after you retire. Learn to play the quarterback position and then use the gifts that God gave you when it's time to use the gifts. If you do that, he would virtually be unstoppable if he just learned to discipline himself in the game. The one thing I'll give him credit for is that he did hold himself accountable. He said it was on him. He said when you have a lead like that, that's not a lead you're supposed to let go. And I agree with that. And I have to but I put it on him because literally when you watch the game and you watch the ending of that game, the first person you thought of was Patrick Mahomes. No one else did anything different. Everybody played the way they were supposed to play. The defense played the way they were supposed to play. But when you give turnovers, when you are careless with the football, that interception that he threw, that last interception that he threw that basically sealed the game, had no business. The interception in overtime. You had
Horrific.
no business throwing that ball. No business. You have a safety over top and a corner underneath Tyreek Hill, who is not Megatron. He's not 6'5", 6'6". He is 5'10" on a good day. On a good day. But you're gonna throw that pass for what? You had no
Because
reason. And then you had Nicole Harmon on the other side that had a one-on-one. Those are moments that I'm talking about. Those little details, the little discipline. And Patrick Mahomes needs to learn how to play that position the correct way. Play it the way that it's always been played. When you want to talk about that, you want to be mentioned with the all-time greats. They were all disciplined playing that position. Every detail was never too small. And the moment he does that, the moment he can understand that, he'll be fine. And I believe he'll be fine. He's still young. But the arrogance of him is what's crazy. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and talk, and then I'm gonna come back in and talk about the Bengals with Joe Burrow. So you go ahead, y'all go ahead.
Well, you know what?
Brandon,
All
you
right.
got it, dog.
You go back to the divisional round when Kansas City was playing Buffalo, man. You can tell that whoever came out of that, you felt like they probably would have gone to the Super Bowl because Kansas City and Buffalo were just lighting up the scoreboard like there was no tomorrow. And so when Kansas City started off in the first half against Cincinnati, you felt like they were going to the Super Bowl and they were just going to blow them out. Mahomes also has that gunslinger mentality, but okay, so Tristan already put some of the blame on Mahomes. I'm gonna come at an angle on Andy Reid. Andy Reid has been in this league for a long time. He was around Brett Favre in the '90s, who also had a gunslinger mentality, and he too had calmed down that slinging a little bit to get to Super Bowl back to back years, including winning one of them, the first one. So Andy Reid really needs to go into this off season, and if he has to go look at the Brett Favre tapes and do whatever he needs to do with Patrick Mahomes to like calm some of that gunsling mentality down and make him like a true quarterback. Like, not saying he has to be exactly on Tom Brady's level, but as close as Tom Brady level as possible, as close as Peyton Manning, Eli Manning as possible. That's what he's going to have to do because he has the quarterback to win Super Bowls for years upon years to come.
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, I don't have a problem with him using his athleticism, but he's got to be smarter. Uh, I think I'm gonna use a line my dad says all the time. You reading his doggone press clippings, that boy. That's what my dad would say. But he got a little, I guess you could say, a little souped up from all of the attention he's getting from being this dual threat quarterback, and he feels like he's Teflon. And at the end of the day, you got to make the right decisions to um, protect protect your lead. You did all the things with your athleticism and your great playing ability to get this commanding lead. And now, granted, let me say this: Pat Mahomes does not play defense. Pat Mahomes does not play defense, and the Chiefs' defensive line needs to be drawn and quartered for allowing Joe Burrow to stay as clean as he did in this game with that type of offensive line, which also, not again, not making my Super Bowl pick, but that's going to be a problem in the Super Bowl against a really good pass rush. That's gonna. I really, there's no way. They're mainly deficient of in Cincinnati is that offensive line, and we said that they're ahead of schedule by getting this far in the playoffs. And if they fix that offensive line, whoa Nelly, you're gonna really have a problem. If Joe Burrow can sit back there and make a Sam Darnold type game and make some old phone calls, I'm dating myself now. But if he can sit in the pocket and do that, whoa Nelly, you got problems. You got problems. But the Chiefs' defensive line needs to be drawn and quartered for allowing Burrow to stay that clean. Now they got some hits on him, but there's no way he should have been allowed to do the things that he did with that offensive line.
Especially after Tennessee had nine
So
sacks.
all of it, I can't put all of it on Pat Mahomes, but a lot of the blame falls on him for making bad decisions. Yeah, exactly. Tennessee did what they were supposed to do. Now that could be the anomaly that is the Cincinnati Bengals. We could be talking about a team where they go up and give up 5, 6 sacks and still win the game because it's seeming like that's not stopping them. All the way that all those sacks can really hurt them, it's seeming like right now as if they just put Burrow out the game. If he gets hurt, God forbid. I don't want to see him get hurt again. But you know, yeah, I mean, they're winning with no production. I've never seen that in all my 40 some years of watching football. I've never seen an offensive line that bad, a team with an offensive line that bad be winning like they win. I don't get it. It's but Kansas City had no reason to lose that game. Just like watched Kansas City 40 the Kansas City 49ers rematch, or at the very most, we should have been seeing the rubber match in the Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Niners for the third time in the Super Bowl. You know, but yeah, man, I don't I just don't know what that was just a major collapse. I don't think Kansas City. I still think Kansas City is the class of that division moving forward. But something's got something's got to happen because they just you don't. What God? How many points was that lead? I can't even remember. I
How
don't
many?
remember how many points they were
Eh,
up by. It was
So
24?
one
Was
time
it
the score, was
24
21 to
points?
3.
Yeah,
They tried to score a
I
touchdown
can't
to
remember.
go up 28 to 3 right before the half,
yeah.
and but they failed, and so halftime I think was it 21 to was it still 21 to
I
3
It
remember
was
that.
21-3 going in a half.
going to halftime, and then Kansas City got the ball, and Cincinnati just took over in the second half.
Yeah.
That's it's just beyond me, man. It's you're supposed to be the defending AFC champions, and you gave up a lead like that at home. It's just it's baffling. It's really baffling. So we almost out of time. Let's get into this. Let's get into this Flores lawsuit against the NFL.
Hmm.
I'd like to go
Oh,
first. I'm gonna say my piece on it.
hold on, real quick, Eric. I just want to say this one quick thing. One quick thing. In regards to the Bengals, do you want to know who should be the most upset about the Bengals and their success with them going to the Super Bowl?
Who?
Oh, AJ Green.
No, no, no. It's not an individual person.
No.
It's not an individual person.
Oh, but
It's an
well,
entire
who
city.
now?
It's an entire city that should be upset.
Oh,
Baltimore,
Nope.
Cleveland.
The Cleveland Browns.
Uh
Because
oh.
the Bengals are everything that they were supposed to be. Everything they
yep,
were supposed to be. They
yep.
drafted QB number one. That was supposed to change life for them. They did all this roster moves to get all these pieces up there. And what we're seeing
Yep.
with the Bengals is exactly what we were supposed to see with the Cleveland Browns. And that should tell you everything about the Cleveland Browns organization and where they are. You had a team that the year before, the year before last, they won what, one or two games? That's how they got the number one pick for Joe Burrow. They won like one or two games. And then Joe Burrow gets hurt. They have another bad season, and then bring in Jamar Chase. And now they're literally a game away from being Super Bowl champions. All the years that we have looked at Cleveland Browns and all the hype that was coming to Cleveland is what the Bengals have actually manifested for the league. And
But
it is amazing.
T,
Go ahead.
here's my only dispute about that. Both teams, okay, I get what you're saying, but both teams are kind of built a little bit differently. Cleveland went more so, okay, they drafted Baker, they drafted Chubb, but what they did was they brought in a lot of free agents and trades, veterans by trades and stuff. They brought in Kareem Hunt, they brought in OBJ, they
Yes.
brought in Jarvis Landry. This past year, last offseason they brought in like a whole bunch of defensive players. Of course, they drafted Myles Garrett, but Cincinnati did more drafting than bringing in free agents. Now, yes, they brought in free agents, but they didn't spend big money to bring in a lot of those free agents because Cheeto didn't cost a lot of money. Eli Apple definitely didn't cost a lot of money, and I don't think DJ Reader cost a lot of money either. So I get what you're saying, but Cincinnati's built a little bit differently because they did it more so through draft and cheap free agents versus spending big money on trades and free agents.
You're not wrong, but you're looking at it from more of an analytical standpoint and a more literal standpoint. You're not wrong at all. I'm looking at it just from surface face value.
Okay.
Everything they did, that Cleveland did, was to be where Cincinnati is right now. For me, if I'm a Cleveland fan, just looking at it from face value, looking at it from surface, I would be upset that my team isn't that. That's up the street. That's literally up the street from me. We are not that. When we tried to be that, the NFL crowned the Browns saying that they were going to be that. No one said anything like that about the Bengals this season.
No, that's
No
true.
one said that the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl. But
Hey,
last year, everyone was saying that Cleveland Browns have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Everybody said this
yeah,
year,
you're right.
Cleveland Browns have a chance to go to the
You're
Super
right.
Bowl.
You're right.
No one
Hey,
said that about Cincinnati. So that's what I'm saying. From looking at it from a surface point, they are they are everything that Cleveland Browns wish they were. And also I'm gonna say this with the Ravens fans. Ravens fans, until you do an overhaul on your philosophy offensively, y'all are going to be the third best team in your own division. And I'm only saying that because the Steelers do not have a QB on their roster. Y'all are going to be the third best team in your division. Let
but
me
but
be very clear.
but Baltimore's
You
going through a lot. They're going through changes anyway because they fired the defensive coordinator. Okay, they're about to lose about 3 to 5 starters on defense. Jimmy Smith, Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams, uh, some other front seven guy. They about to lose. They are going through changes. And so between they need to fire Greg Roman, but they fired the defensive coordinator. They hired that defensive coordinator from Michigan. They going through some serious changes. And let me go back to
Man,
Cincinnati
let me
real
tell you
quick.
something.
I said Zach Taylor should win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If Pittsburgh can get the right quarterback, Lord have mercy, because that team is still built to win right now. They're still a threat. You got a really good defense, you got some really good pass catchers, and you got a heck of a running back. So you're looking at, you know, you're looking at something. I still believe there's a power shift in the NFC North. I do believe that. And I do believe that the Bengals are the class of that division. But we're gonna have some problems if Pittsburgh is able to get the right pass to them. I'm serious. It's gonna be a problem. And I feel like Baltimore with Greg Roman calling plays is gonna take a step back. Because well, also they got to get some pass catches, like somebody other than Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is the number 2 guy who should be the take the top off the defense guy. He's not the hey man, I need a big play
Right.
down the
He's not an anchor.
I need a big play. No, he can't anchor the receiving core. He's a valuable piece, but he needs somebody on the like okay, let's say Baltimore trades for Calvin Ridley. Now we might be able to talk a little bit. Okay. Calvin Ridley and Hollywood Brown, that's okay. Yeah. But Greg Roman's still calling the plays. And he can be as mundane and predictable as anything. Then also, you're looking at that defense is no longer the Ravens defense like we like to call them. That defense isn't as good as it used to be. So that Ravens gonna have some problems. So I said all that to say this. Um, if Pittsburgh's missing one piece. That's it. They're missing a good passer. That team
Yep.
is built to win right now.
Yep.
Uh, and and Cincinnati's missing a couple of linemen. Couple of linemen. That's it. So we could be seeing Cincinnati and Pittsburgh going at it for quite a while. I'm not going to count out Cleveland all the way. I just can't trust Baker Mayfield. I can't trust it. Just like,
Well, his
most people will say about San Francisco, you can't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. So, go ahead, Brandon.
well, I was going to jump into Cleveland deep, but I'm gonna wait because that to me that's a topic for another day. So
Sure. If you want, we can go ahead and jump into this the Brian Flores situation. And
yeah,
go ahead,
y'all
Eric.
go.
Eric, I know you said you wanted to lead off on that.
Yeah, yeah. So we just talked about what made some of the things that made the NFL great. These phenomenal games we had this week,
Yep.
and the return of Tom Brady, who's arguably the best quarterback of all time. This is one of the blights of the NFL, and people, they want to say that we're conspiracy theorists and talking about how the NFL does people. I'm gonna tell you right now, the NFL um, overall is pretty racist. And the Rooney Rule was a pacifier. Now that wasn't what it was intention was because you know big ups to Art Rooney for pushing the implementation of that regulation. However, the NFL took it and was like, okay, yeah, we'll interview some black guys just to pacify everybody, but we know we want a white head coach. So Brian Flores, because Bill Belichick screwed up, Brian Flores found out some stuff, and now he has a suit against the NFL for discrimination. And he has been quoted as saying, "I know this may cause me to get blackballed and keep me from coaching the game that I love, but there needs to be change." And if he's that adamant about it, obviously this is not. I got sour grapes or something like that because I got fired, which he was wrongfully fired. We already went into, but you know, he's this is another Colin Kaepernick situation, but it's a coach, and it's not necessarily about police brutality. It's about the covert racism that goes on in the National Football League. And because there's too much money at play. There are too many powerful people with a lot of money at play that want to keep this swept under the rug. And the NFL's already denying it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think he has a legitimate claim, gentlemen.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm glad Flores is doing this lawsuit. When I and it's not just blacks, it's minorities period because you look at even going back to Tom Flores who has a couple Super Bowl rings, coaching the Raiders to some Super Bowls, 1980, no, not 1980, 83, yeah, 1980 and 1983. You look at Ron Rivera, coach Carolina to the Super Bowl. You look at Dungy and Lovie Smith both going to Super Bowls. Dungy winning. Lovie Smith, I mean not Lovie Smith. Mike Tomlin been to two Super Bowls, winning one. Um, you look and when they the original running rule was supposed to get more blacks opportunity for more minorities opportunities for head coaching jobs. Then they tried to upgrade the Rooney Rule recently to for GMs and assistant coaches as well. And we've seen GMs guide teams to Super Bowls like Jerry Reese in New York and Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore. So I'm hoping that this goes Flores away, and I'm hoping that this really changed the NFL because the NFL really needs a whole lot of change. Because right now, Mike Tomlin is the only minority. Well, Mike Tomlin and Rivera are the only minority coaches in the league right now.
I'm so worried for Brian Flores
Mm,
because I
mm.
really believe that he sacrificed his coaching career for something that I'm just not sure is going to change. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just that's just where we are right now with the league. I mean, it's just now it might be different because he's a head coach, you know. Because even I said, you know, he might get the Kaepernick trip. Excuse me, still recovering from this COVID thing, but he might get the Kaepernick treatment. Um,
Yep. I feel a black ball coming on.
yeah, and you know that makes me nervous. And you know he does have receipts. He does have evidence. He does have a smoking gun. Um, but even still, this is the NFL, man. This is a different. It's a different engine, and as long as you have those owners that are the good old boys, those good old boy owners that are still there, and you know they run the league. You know, Roger Goodell is nothing but basically the puppet to the owners. You know, the decisions that get made for the league, it comes from the owners, and Roger Goodell is the mouthpiece. Um, and I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. But it's basically the same story, just a different time frame. And now we got to see how this develops again because he has the receipts. So this may cause the fact that there is a. I really hope he has proof about that Stephen Ross situation. You mean to tell me that you were trying 2019? You were going to offer 100K for Brian Flores to throw every game so that y'all can get the number one pick to get Joe Burrow to come to Miami? Like those kind of accusations, you gotta have proof because you're going after an owner. You're going after an owner. You have to have proof that really happened. You have to have receipts that are telling you. It's got to be in text messages, emails, something has to say that that's what happening. Because if you're going by hearsay and you don't have concrete evidence, the league is not going to allow you to destroy one of their owners. It's just not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. When people talk about the Clippers owner that that lost his franchise, there was
Um, Sterling.
Sterling. There was receipts. We heard an actual recording. It was unavoidable. It was in your face. You could not avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way to manipulate it. There was no way to shake it in his favor because you heard it right from his mouth. You have to have some kind of concrete evidence to do that. And I truly believe Brian Flores has some concrete evidence. I feel like he's too smart. He's too well calculated. He saw firsthand with what they did to Kaepernick. I feel that he is too calculated. He's too smart to do something like this, to go this hard and not have any concrete evidence to back him up. So we're going to see how this unfolds.
Sincerely hope he does. And I hope it blows the top off. I mean, just blows the top off all of the racial bias that goes on in the upper levels of the NFL. I really hope so. That whole idea of the Rooney Rule and minority coach with all the best in my glaze. So all we got to do is interview him. Sure, let's bring in this token, and you know, basically we'll go ahead and interview him. We have no intention of really hiring him. In fact, we already have a guy lined up.
Already have a guy.
Um, let's just go ahead and hire. I mean, interview this black guy so we can say we did
Just so we can say we did.
that type of deal. And that's basically yeah. And that's what Brian Flores is trying to expose. And he may have something. I hope he does. I really hope he does. Yep. I
Yeah,
hope he got something.
yeah,
Just so we can blow the cover off all of this, and they can be.
yeah. I fully agree with you, Eric. I fully agree. I really hope that he has some concrete evidence, something real strong to be able to say, okay, and really, maybe this will be the thing. Maybe this will be the pendulum swing for the league. Um, we're gonna leave that as that for right now because we don't want to speculate. We don't want to do say too much without having having all the information that we can have. Seeing how this broke out only a few hours ago. On this podcast, we really take pride in bringing you guys as close to factual information as possible, being as accurate and as integral as possible on this podcast. We are not here for propaganda and pop and circumstance. We're not here for that at all. So as this story develops, each week we'll be coming to you guys and talking to you guys about this. So this definitely will not be the last time. Unfortunately, will not be the last time that we talk about this. Um, and like just our hearts go
Oh
out to Brian
no,
Flores. Say it again, Eric.
I said no. This one, no. I was agreeing with you. This will not be the last time we ever talk about this because it's going to get deeper and deeper, and I hope, like I said, I'm really hoping that they just blow the cover off a lot of trash that's going on that we know is going on. You know, you know something, but you just can't prove it. You
Absolutely.
know what's really going on, but you can't prove it. I feel like that's what's going on, and like I just hope that we can pull out something. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Yep. I fully agree. So with that being said, we're going to close out here. We're going to close out the show. Um, Again, shout outs to Tom Brady, 22 years, a magnificent career, will never be duplicated ever again. Shout outs to him on a fantastic, fantastic career. We're definitely looking forward to the Super Bowl. So next week we're going to be here. We're going to be talking about our Super Bowl picks. We'll be talking more about this Brian Flores situation. We're also going to talk about some more of the coaching hires out here in the NFL. It looks like we might possibly be talking about Jim Harbaugh being the head coach for the Minnesota
Minnesota
Vikings.
Vikings. Yep.
So that's going to be something interesting. So we're going to see how that continues to develop. The last I saw, they said they were closing in on finalizing a deal for that to happen. So it looks like that will be the case. Jim Harbaugh going to the NFC North with Kirk Cousins in them. So yep, Super Bowl week is next week. Definitely excited for that. Like I said, we're gonna give our picks. We're gonna have our guy Steve on here, and we're gonna go through our picks. So until then, we'll see y'all when we see y'all. We appreciate y'all once again. Be sure to subscribe, subscribe, comment to our YouTube channel, Just a Fan Podcast. Be sure to check out our Instagram, Just a Fan Pod, and like and comment on all our stuff. We greatly appreciate it, especially for the YouTube channel. The numbers are growing. We really appreciate you guys for showing up and showing out for us. Comment, share, subscribe, the whole nine. We really, really, really appreciate you guys and love you guys for that. So with that being said, we're signing off here. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy a week of just talking about Tom Brady. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.